Hi, I'm David Mitchell, Administrator of the Iowa Vocational Rehabilitation Services, and as part of our orientation process, we're spending a little time wanting to make sure you're aware of some of our committees that are such a critical part of our State Rehabilitation Council. So you'll be hearing a little bit about our VR Service Committee and our Outreach Committee. I want to share a little bit, though, of information as it pertains to finances and how we operate a VR budget. All members need to be aware of how we make allocation decisions of our limited resources. And certainly as an SRC member, we have opportunities to educate and discuss with our legislators what those allocation decisions mean and how it impacts services. As an SRC member, you'll have a role in how we carry out that mission. It's also important that you understand the state and federal match process. For every state dollar that vocational rehabilitation gets, we match with 4 federal dollars. So that helps us in our operating budget. That actual percentage is about 21.3% of state dollars, match 78.7% of federal dollars. So we have an operating budget that's a little over $30 million that goes to serve Iowans with disabilities. It's also important that you understand how the financial process here at Vocational Rehabilitation is an integrated service component of our state workforce service system. That's an important concept under the Workforce Innovation Opportunities Act. We are now looking at how we collaborate across core partner agencies. In our workforce system, our adult education and literacy programs, our Promise Jobs, TANF, Medicaid systems are examples of how we align dollars and leverage services to make sure that we're using our state dollars as effectively as possible. This is a great job because we get to talk about an economic investment and a return on investment that happens not only federally, but here in the state of Iowa. As individuals go back to work, we return dollars into the state economy. In fact, our dollars will come back at a 3-to-1 return for our state appropriations. So that's positive, it's fun, it gives us an opportunity to dialogue with our legislators and our community in a very positive way. It's also important as an SRC member that you understand that we have resources dedicated to you that helps you travel into our state rehab meetings, that helps reimburse you for expenses. And we also have a contract that we did this past year with the Iowa Coalition for Integration on Employment that really looks at how we look at statewide needs assessment and how the information we gather from constituents across the state of Iowa can help you as an SRC member advocate for priorities that you want to see in our service delivery system. And our final thing as it relates to finances is your role to help make sure that we recruit members back into the council that can help advocate for services here in Iowa that impact individuals with disabilities. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jeff Haight and I am the Resource Manager, Data Quality Manager for Vocational Rehabilitation Services. I work with budgets, but on mainly the case service side, the SRC Consumer Satisfaction Survey, and management reports. The following graphs are presented to the SRC committee at each quarterly meeting. I will provide a general explanation for each. The top graph, IVRS revenues, displays where the total revenues come from. The majority of funding, 78.7%, comes from federal funds indicated in blue. The state needs to match 21.3% of the VR funding. The second highest funding source is the state of Iowa funds, indicated in green. The state does not fund the whole 21.3% amount required, so the agency enters into other contracts to come up with the difference in funding. The other revenue, in yellow, comes from our third-party contracts, SSA dollars, and indirect costs we receive from disability determination services. The other cash match, in red, comes from the Department of Aging and Iowa School for the Deaf contracts. The second graph, IVRS case service authorizations cumulative, shows the dollars authorized on our job candidates through case services. It shows comparisons of the current year with the prior year and the average prior 3 years by month. The decrease in authorizations in the closeout period is from authorized case services being canceled due to the services not being received or delivered. The third graph, IVRS waiting list, shows the number of job candidates found eligible but do not meet the level of disability to go directly into receiving services. The most significantly disabled job candidates identified in green are the first to come off the waiting list. The significantly disabled is the next category off of the wait list, identified in red. The non-significantly disabled is the last category to come off the wait list and are identified in blue. These job candidates have not came off the waiting list since October 23, 2009 due to funding limitations. The fourth graph, IVRS cumulative successful closures, shows by month of both the current federal fiscal year to the prior federal fiscal year the successful closures cumulative by month. The standard set by the federal government is to exceed the prior year by 1.
I'm Paige Easton. I am the Director of the Client Assistance Program and a member of the State Rehabilitation Council. I currently serve as Chair of the VR Service Delivery Committee. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the responsibilities of the committee and some resources that might be helpful to you. One of our responsibilities is to develop and coordinate the distribution of the Job Candidate Satisfaction Survey. We review the results quarterly. The survey is available electronically and in postcard format, and a more in-depth survey is sent to individuals at the time of closure. We use this feedback to help us advise and provide recommendations to IVRS. Another responsibility is to complete an annual report to the governor. The annual report highlights the initiatives and outcomes of IVRS. We use it at our annual legislative reception to show legislators the value of investing in programs that help individuals with disabilities find, maintain, and advance in employment. Another responsibility is to review proposals and make recommendations regarding agency policy issues. One of our most important responsibilities is to provide feedback to IVRS on proposed and existing policies. SRC members represent a diverse group of stakeholders who can provide valuable feedback from their perspectives. It's important to become familiar with the agency policies so we can provide informed feedback. Our last responsibility is to increase SRC involvement and recruitment of new members who can leverage public support in advocating for persons with disabilities. We do this by having conversations with external parties regarding IVRS involvement, which include community organizations, past recipients of services, business, and other state and public workforce system partners. Once you're familiar with the agency, it's important to help others understand the value that IVRS brings to job seekers, business, and the important role of IVRS in our state workforce system. As you begin to familiarize yourself, there are some helpful resources available to assist you. Knowing where to find information empowers us to better serve IVRS through our role on the State Rehabilitation Council's VR Services Delivery Committee.
Hi, my name is Lori Moore. I am a member of the State Rehab Council. I work at Ask Resource Center, Access for Special Kids, and we house the Parent Training and Information Center of Iowa. We provide information, referral, advocacy support to families of kids with disabilities. We're a statewide organization and receive federal grants as well as contracts and grants through Iowa Department of Education. We are a mandated partner at the State Rehab Council. It's just an important piece that the state has identified as a priority to have families' voice represented at the table. So I am honored to be there. I'm also the chairperson for the Outreach Committee, is what I'd like to talk to you about today. The Outreach Committees has three primary purposes. Our largest component of our work is recruiting new committee members. It is important to have a representation of Iowans from across the state represented at the State Rehab Council, representatives from different aspects of either the workforce, business partners, families, people with disabilities, different government entities, and all sorts of representation so that we can have a real global aspect of the folks that are at the table discussing the issues for the Voc Rehab Council and their work. The second piece of work that we do is a contract with the Iowa Coalition for Integrated Employment. We are working with them to collect information to help inform the statewide needs assessment, which then in turn drives the work of the Voc Rehab. The third component of work that the Outreach Committee is responsible for is organizing the annual legislative reception. This provides the council members opportunity to meet face-to-face and one-on-one with legislators at the beginning of the session. And we provide them with a sort of annual report card as to how the vocational rehab services have transpired over the past year. The way in which the finances have been allocated and used, and then the successes that have come from providing Iowans with disabilities with those services and improving and really enhancing Iowa's workforce. It is our goal as a council to have representation from various parts of the state. It would be great if you would consider filling out an application for the State Rehab Council, as well as looking into and pursuing the Outreach Committee. Thank you very much.